everyone and welcome back. We've got a bit of a bonus video this time, not necessarily a consignment update because most of you have already looked at the catalogue. Hopefully will have seen some of these things, but you will notice we're in a slightly different room to the past couple of consignment updates. We're in our upstairs room where we've got mainly day 2 guitars. We've got our pedals, spares, studio sections up here. You will see the Gordon Giltrap collection and other artist guitars on the tables far behind me, antique and classical guitars here, and then if we spin around we can see all the other musical instruments as well, so our musical instrument sale. But the focus of today's video is we've done this type of video before, but sort of a budget bidding video showing guitars that come up on day 2 and do present you know, pretty good deals for people. Essentially guitars that tend to hammer at £200 or under, and these can be guitars that are decent platforms for modifications. They can just be very good guitars that just haven't got that vintage or collectible kudos, but are fantastic instruments in their own right, especially some of the well-built early Japanese guitars, or even some of the later sort of Squier things like Classic Vibe series. But I thought I'd pick out a few things that I quite like, I think are good quality in this section, just to highlight this section more and give a few pointers into, I guess, finding a decent guitar within this section. Of course, we do go on public view later this week, so we are on public view on Friday the 6th and then on Monday the 9th of June. So we encourage you to come down, take a look, play some of these things, because you can get an idea of quality, especially if you're looking for something that might make a good project. You can see whether the body and neck are suitable for what you want to do and make some modifications, or you might just find a very good guitar for not a lot of money. Of course, if you can't come down and view, then we're always on hand to offer some advice, myself and Chris, who's behind the camera, and we can offer advice, give condition reports and things like that. But I hope you enjoy this video. Please do let us know in the comments if you do like this kind of content, because we're always willing to try new things, different ideas. And of course, if you do like this channel, subscribe to it, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, so you can see more in the future. So yeah, hope you enjoy this video, and let's take a look. So first up, we're having a look at this little acoustic guitar. This is of course a Taylor Baby, and this is the 301M, so mahogany model. So really great little, I guess, armchair guitars in some ways. Nice and small, very good quality, play really well. This one has had a repair. It's certainly got a repairer's label, and looking at the inside, it looks like there is a split down the inside there, which if you turn it around you cannot see it, so it doesn't appear major or structural. It's certainly not affecting the guitar in any way, but it may slightly suppress the total hammer price. But I think these are fantastic for the money. At auction they tend to come in at around the £150 hammer mark, which for a little travel or armchair guitar I think is great. And you know, they do have a good sound and do play really well. And anyone who was following this time last year, actually, when we saw the Bernie Marsden collection, there was a lot of interest in his blue Squier Strat, which was it was the stack Strat, and this is basically the same model from the same period. So for those of you who missed out on that and yeah, wanted to get something similar without the provenance attached, you know, increasing the price, then this is potentially a good option. Now, the general story was that Bernie had this guitar that he found in a shop local to the studio he was recording in, and he ended up using this Squier guitar because it sounded so good and it played so great, and it was the one he chose over his arsenal of supposedly amazing vintage guitars. So yeah, the guitar ended up getting quite a reputation. But yeah, this is the equivalent. Of course, we do need to play these things and hear what they sound like, because they're not all built the same, so it might not be exactly the same, but I'm sure you'll be getting quite close to it. Condition-wise, a few dings and marks, but I think, yeah, a really good quality Strat that should come in slightly under £200 hammer, so another reasonable buy. And here we have a Squier Telecaster, and this is the Paranormal series Cabronita Telecaster, and it's basically in as new condition. There's a few surface marks there that will come off, but you can see it's still got his sticker there. It's even got his plastic film on the pickups. So this does present an opportunity, or is a good example of what you can find in the what we call Part 2 affordable guitar day. So these guitars retail $350, but you'll probably hammer prices have probably come in under $150 or under. But fantastic quality guitars. I really do like the Squier, certainly the classic vibe, that kind of series Squiers, the more recent things, and this one's from 2022, I understand. Yes, it is, and looks cool as well, doesn't it? I think with a lot of these guitars, especially the Squier guitars, because they don't come in at a huge money, you can spend a little bit more upgrading them, whether that's pickups, whether it's tuners, although the tuners on this I'm sure will be adequate enough. But you can, yeah, spend a little bit of money and a little bit of time and do these little upgrades and essentially have a fantastic instrument in your hands. But there we go, Squier Paranormal Cabronita Telecaster. And I really like these bass guitars. I've spoken about them in previous videos before. This is the SB301 model bass collection, and this is the fretless version. And as you can see, SGC Nanyo, made in Japan. So it's a Japanese-made guitar, very good quality, 4-string. Fretless bass. It's got a few dings and marks, but I think we can forgive that, and at the end of the day it's what it sounds like and what it plays like that is the most important thing. But they're really really nice, lightweight, like small body, really comfortable to play, nice necks on them as well, and some decent electrics going on as well. I always think these sound, you know, pretty big, and considering this would probably hammer at around £100, which is nothing, really. I mean, obviously there is buyer's premium, which does take it up to £126.40 if it was a £100 hammer price, but you're still getting a lot of bass guitar for the money. So yeah, there we go. Shouldn't be overlooked. Japanese quality, really good parts, Goto tuners and all of that going on. So yeah, if you do get a chance to grab one of these and you are in the market for a bass guitar that's not going to break the bank, then that is a good option. And just sticking with bass guitars, and very similar in aesthetic to the last one we just saw, this is the Tanglewood Rebel 5K, so it's a 5-string, and again, fantastic guitar for the money. These hammer at between £50 and £100, which again is nothing. I mean, my guess would be it would be more towards £100 mark on the day, just because it's in very good condition, apart from the one ding on the back there. But yeah, if you're in the market for a 5-string bass, fretted, then this is a very good bass indeed. So here we have a Fender branded guitar, which it is a Fender branded guitar, made in China, and this is the Modern Player series. This is the Thinline Deluxe. So we've got 2 P90 pickups, and again, I think in the auction they do present incredible value. Very similar to the Squier Classic vibes, slightly higher appointments, coming under the Fender brand as well. For those of you who may have some headstock snobbery and won't be seen with Squier on the head, then this is a good option, because hammer-wise they can come in around £200. So sort of towards, you know, on the cusp of being a day 1, day 2 guitar. But even with the buyer's premium on top, let's say it sells for £200, then roughly with the premium on top, it's going to be around 250 checkout price. And that does present a very, very good buy. I mean, a lot of people say there aren't good buys to have anymore in these auctions, but I simply don't agree with that, because if you look around, I mean, these retailed at £450. If you look at what some resellers are trying to sell these for in the used market, you probably will see prices anywhere within the range of £400 to £600, depending on who you're buying from. So even with the premium, this does present a great buy. You know, essentially, you could save yourself £150. But anyway, fantastic guitars. For me, they do feel very much on par, like I said earlier, with the classic vibe instruments, but I guess you are paying a little bit more for the name. But there's nothing wrong with the classic vibe instruments. I've got one of the Strats myself, and in fact it's the only sort of traditional type Strat that I own, because I don't think I need anything better, or anything more, should I say. But there we go, a modern player Thinline Telecaster. And more often than not, the day 2 guitar section is where you will find a lot of the red label Yamahas, which a lot of people rave about. Certainly the low end ones. Obviously there's some higher end models that are going to be in the mid to higher hundreds, but these, this is the FG-110. This kind of falls around the £150 mark hammer max, but red label, made in Japan, Nippon Gaki red labels, which we all read about and how good a guitar they are. This one has a few dings and marks, but again, considering the age, 1970s instrument, it's not bad at all. So yeah, do not overlook the part 2 section, because you will find great quality vintage acoustics like this. So yeah, check out the catalogue and see what you might find. And Japanese quality once again, we have a Westbury Standard 24. So Japanese made guitar from the, it'll be the early 80s, very early 80s. But you will notice, I'm pretty sure anyway, we've got Damasio pickups, they've certainly got the hex poles, and a lot of these early Japanese guitars did. I've not had them out to check underneath, but let's assume they are, just for the sake of what I'm saying now. But yeah, under £200 and a pair of Damasio Super Distortion or similar pickups, can't really go wrong. But really smart guitars as well. You've got this, it's not quite the whole German carve idea, but it's similar. You've got this nice bevel around the edge, contour on the back. Really nice weight, mahogany, well, mahogany right through as well, set neck, but fantastic instrument for around £200 or less. And these have started to become more and more collectible. So again, this section of guitars shouldn't be overlooked, because you can find bargains such as this. So just I've just picked these two at random, just to show you that these are basically in the same lot. Now, what we try and do is, in general with guitars, we try and have a lot minimum value of around £100 when we can. You will see some exceptions, and there are reasons for that. But it just goes to show that for this lot that will hammer at around £100, you do get a Squier bullet Strat there as well. 2 guitars for £100, can't be bad, can it? And I think this also gives a good example of instruments that don't break the bank and are very modifiable, because of the nature of them. Bolt on, you can quickly or easily change pickups, tuners, all those kind of things. So essentially what you can do is you can, especially if you're coming to view, you can sit down, have a play. If you like the feel of the neck, you think they're a nice weight, they feel quite, you know, nicely balanced, but maybe the sound isn't quite right, then the sound can easily be addressed. As long as you've got a good bass, underneath, bass model underneath that is a good player and has a nice feel, then yeah, you can get yourself a good starter for a decent project. So do have a look. So we've got quite a lot of these multiple lot guitars. And we do also have quite a lot of things like Squier Strats that are very good bass things to be modified, or just keep them as they are as a good starter guitar. But there we go. 2 in 1 lot, but you'll find many more the same. And in this section you will find quirky things such as this. This is a Mahalo, which are very well known for ukuleles, and this is a bass ukulele. This is a very similar concept to the D-Arm and Ashbury basses, which were made under the Guild and both the Guild and Fender name. Yeah, you get a very similar idea with these plastic synthetic type strings. A lot of people quite like these for studio work, so this does present a good option. I think we've got 2 of these in the sale. So if you want a little, you know, a very compact bass guitar that could work quite well in a studio setting, and some of the D-Armor ones can be a bit pricier, then yeah, do have a look at these. And just for a bit of fun, we will show off this oil can guitar. Bohemian guitars, they make all different sorts, guitars, bass, you name it, they do it. I think they do sort of some smaller stringed instruments as well, but just quirky things like this, you will find them in day 2. Whether you want to use it as an instrument or just a good wall hanger or whatever, really, they're a good fun little thing. And another good quality small-bodied acoustic. This is very much sort of a parlour-sized instrument, so again, good for your armchair, but fantastic condition. This is the Ron Emory Loyalty Junior by Fender. Ron Emory, an American punk guitarist, his signature model, and smart guitar, ash body, with this sort of see-through butterscotch type finish. But yeah, a lot of guitar for the money. Sort of, I predict this would sell for between £100 and £150, which isn't bad at all if you want a good quality little parlour guitar. And you'll also find fun little vintage guitars from the sort of 1930s to the 50s, like this. So this is a little small bodied, although it's branded Wizard, it is by Harmony, and it should have the model in there, which is the H1060 model, and with the artwork on there, very these sort of cowboy scenes, and you can see there De Boer. So you will see other ones of these around, but I think these usually tend to hammer around £100, but decent little finger picking guitars, and they look smart as well. So something else that is very good quality, and again you'll often find these guitars in the day 2 guitar section. So this is a Washburn Woodstock 12 string, and a lot of guitarists in the certainly in the 1980s were endorsed by Washburn, and quite often you'd see them with the Woodstock or the EA model acoustic instruments. And yeah, they essentially they had to be good quality guitars, based on the fact that these artists were regularly playing them on stage and in the studio. For one reason or another, their value hasn't really risen over the years. But there we go. There is one of those instruments, or the type of instruments you would have seen back then. Again, shouldn't be overlooked. Good quality, well made, solid construction. And if they were good enough for artists back then they must be good enough for people now. Just having a quick look at this this Hohner as well, Hohner Professional. Again, very good guitars. L90. We don't see this model that often. It kind of it reminds me a little bit of a Les Paul hybrid with the EVH guitars, especially with the bird's eye maple on the top. But again, nice little lightweight, quite thin bodied instruments, and something again that if you don't quite like the hardware and pickups, it's not gonna, the platform of this guitar is quite a good one to make something potentially quite special. But there we go, there's a Hohner Professional L90. And if you're a fan of the 80s and love the whole Steinberger headless type thing, Then this also a Hohner Professional B2A, fantastic quality instruments once again. And this model you have the lower drop tune as well, which you can essentially set to any drop tuning, I believe, with this little tuner knob here. But yeah, really good. You can even play them sat down with the little lever there, the little rest. But yeah, they're really good quality basses and will cost. I mean, based on the fact that it's in this section, think how much a Steinberger would cost. 10 to 20 times more. So yeah, does present a good buy really. And a Squier Jaguar bass. In last week's consignment update, you saw I think it was the blackout Fender Jaguar bass. If you can't quite stretch to one of those, then here is something fairly similar, obviously apart from the finish, with this Squier Jag bass. So you've got the PJ hybrid pickup options, candy apple red finish, but good quality things that tend to come in at around £150 hammer. If you can't afford the Gibson Chet that we have in day 1, then we do have the Epiphone version in day 2. So that is the Epiphone Chet Atkins signature that we don't see that often. And I was singing the praises of the Bass Collection 4-string fretless earlier. Well, here is the 5-string fretted model from that series. So again, made in Japan, all very good quality parts, Goto tuners, decent pickups, nice lightweight. So if you need a decent 5-string bass that's gonna, like I said, once again, 100 to 150, that kind of level, it's not going to break the bank, and very good quality indeed. And you will of course find the JHS Vintage budget brand in the day 2 section. Again, really good quality guitars. Here's their SG instrument, which this is in fantastic condition. But the thing that really stands out to me is this Flying V. Now, these are, so the Epiphones, I think, the sort of the Korean-made Epiphones are very, very, very good guitars. Very good quality. And apart from the body being slightly thicker on these, I think these are, in my opinion, are not far off. You've got a nice big chunky neck. You've even got the grip pad on the side, but this one also has been upgraded with Ibanez reissue pickups, so a decent set of pickups in this guitar. So have a look at that, because if you're in the market for a Flying V that's going to come in at 150 to 200 pounds, then there's a very good option, and it does look the part as well. And from 1982 we have this Matsumoto made Westone Thunder bass guitar. Again, incredible Japanese quality. This one has been modified in the sense that the whole body and neck has been stained in green. It would of course been natural to start with. It's also had this rather inventive thumb rest on, but it works. And yeah, I think when these are original, we tend to get 150 to 200 for them. But because of the mods, you could grab quite a bargain, and maybe even under £100. But there we go, a very good quality Matsumoto made Westone Thunder from 1982. And we also have things like this, which is a vintage, I guess, lawsuit Antoria EB type bass guitar, and dings and marks around, but these are becoming more collectible, these lawsuit guitars. Essentially, it's almost a Ibanez really, just made in the same factory, just branded with a different brand name on. But yeah, good 1970s quality, Japanese made again. But you do get a bolt on rather than a set neck that you'd expect to see on a Gibson. But you will often find these sort of slightly more budget lawsuit guitars in this section. I'm quite a big fan of Shaftesbury guitars. I think their sort of Gibson copy instruments are very good. but they also had the models such as this. This is the Ned Callan model, nice and quirky, again Japanese made, decent quality instrument, typical cracking to the lacquer, but it's not bad at all for the age. So yeah, you can always find something quirky like this in D2. So here we have a 1981 Cardinal Series guitar. The Cardinal Series instruments are very good guitars. Many of you have probably had experience with them before. This is a lesser seen model with the single pickup, and you do have the volume, tone and the coil switch as well. So we've got a Damasio pickup, we've got a Senash body with this sort of trans blue finish, but this was consigned by a lady who basically bought it new and just never used it, hence why it's in such fantastic condition. But like I said, a model that is not often seen, a few minor dings and marks, but in fantastic condition considering it was made in 1981. And we've shown you quite a few travel guitars, or certainly smaller bodied armchair and suitable for travelling, but this is got to be one of the ultimate. This is the Martin Backpacker, so it's just in time for the holiday or festival season. So there we go, Martin Backpacker Travel Acoustic. And there I was raving about classic vibe Strats and things like that earlier. We have one. So Squier Classic Vibe, this is a 50s version, having the maple neck and the two-tone sunburst finished body, but in fantastic condition. Hammer price around £150. Keep it as it is. They sound great. Modify it if you want to have some upgrades. Either way, really good instrument. I thought this was worth a mention just because I'm amazed by the condition. Eko guitars, the sort of Ranger and Rio Bravo models, I think are very good. They don't always have the best reputation, and when the lacquer starts cracking, and especially if the bolt-on necks and necks start leaning forward, then obviously they're not great. But when they are all up together, they are good solid instruments. Now this is a Rio Bravo model. It's also a left-handed one. We do have quite a few left-handed instruments in this section as well as in day one. But I just thought I'd mention this because the condition is absolutely fantastic. Even got its original tag. It also has its original bag. So this guitar kind of shows off various upgrades that people would do to a guitar. So we've got the platform is a Lag Arcane, but we have in the neck position a Lola Charlie Christensen pickup. Now that pickup is going to be worth quite a bit in its own right, but we've also got a decent set of Goto 510 tuners as well. There's other hardware mods on this, so there's some really good value in the mods. So that is another reason why you should look at this section, because some of the guitars may have mods that are worth just as much as the actual guitar themselves. But it does also show what you can do to a more budget base model, and then put some decent upgrades, and you can end up with something quite special. And every now and then we do get offer, not that often, but we do sometimes get what we have as sort of box jobs of guitars. So these essentially, it may not be presented the best way, but these are essentially guitars that do need a lot of work or sort of servicing. But I think it's worth a mention because quite often we get asked, well, who would actually want to buy these? Well, in our opinion, they do present a good opportunity to those who are, they either want some cheap guitars, and that's fair enough, but they do present a good opportunity for people that are potentially looking to go into, guitar lutherie. And what you can do with these guitars is you can practice things like fretwork, or binding repairs and things like that. So you can really hone your skills, and instead of taking an expensive guitar and practicing, hammering out frets and hammering in frets, you can keep practicing on these And I didn't really think about this myself until sort of many luthiers said, well, this is how they started. They just used to acquire knackered old guitars, practice till they got it right, and then when you do it on the real thing and you need to do it for a paying customer, then you have lots of practice in advance. So I think that is where the customer base for these comes from, because we do quite often get the question, like I said, who would buy this kind of thing? Well, there is your answer. But of course, if you do just want, I mean, some of these will be okay. If you do just want a guitar that you can just throw around the campfire, then you can get 3 or 4 in one lot and have your campfire jam. But there we go. You will often find these in the auctions, and they'll always be on day 2. And obviously not guitar, but guitar related. And I think the reason I'm putting this section just at the end of this video is because quite often people look through the catalogue, they find an instrument they might want to bid on, get outbid, but perhaps want to go away with a consolation prize, and that is often what the pedal section can present, because again, you can pick up a new toy, or you can pick up some sort of pedals for relatively good deals. So we've got, you know, modern pedals, we've got some old vintage pedals. You can see there's some old 60s Valve copycats under there in their covers, and we've got these always do very well these days, a Park Fuzz Sound. Yeah, all sorts of pedals. We have over 400 pedals in this cell, and you can see them all sort of stacked ready to go on the top shelf here. So this will be on the Monday. It's the first 5-day sale we've had. So 400 pedals on the Monday. In the last video we had a look at the George Lynch guitar and said there was a steel sealed in its box Jaguar, and well, there it is, limited edition. So yeah, you can see some really rare pieces. There's loads of pedals in here that I've never seen before, even brands that I've never even heard of before. I'm sure many of you pedal aficionados have. There's another model, the Shinai Companion Fuzz Wah pedal, WF8 in its original box. So all sorts of cool vintage things, and then we've got more on the racks here. Electro Harmonics, Dan Electro, DOD, Line 6, TC Electronic, and of course Boss. We've probably nearly got every kind of Boss pedal going, and we've got a load of Wazacraft pedals as well. And then we've got even more on the top shelf here. So we've got a Rockman X100 in its original box, with its headphones and everything else. A Gin Dunlop Heil Sound. I think that was brand new and sealed. We had to take it out of the box to photograph it, but yeah, that was brand new and sealed before we got our hands on it. Again, there's another Shinai Companion unit there. All sorts of weird and wonderful fuzz pedals. We've got a Strymon pedals as well. Origin effects. We've even got, I believe at the back, we've got a Quad Cortex, which has never been used. Neural. So there we go. Neural Quad Cortex in its original box, never used. Roger Mayer Voodoo Vibe. So it really is worth having a look through that section, because you name it, we quite likely have it this time round, having such a big section. So yeah, please do have a look at that over on the website, auctions.gardnerholgate.co.uk. So there we go, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this bonus video for this week. Not necessarily something we were expecting to do, but there we go, there it is. We will probably be back with a quick sale room tour as well, just to show you around, a brief overview of what we've got, which will hopefully go up by the end of this week. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video today. As always, let us know in the comments what you like, what you don't like, and subscribe to the channel. But you will find the full catalogue at auctions.gardnerholgate.co.uk. We'll see you next time.